Day. All right, let's take a look at the final poll results. What did we do? It just kept getting bigger and bigger. There you go. So most Vol fans are going to look back and say, huzzah, we made the playoffs in 2024, which, to be honest with you, is probably the way it should be. I mean, 10-3, you made a playoff. I thought you'd be 9-3 this year and not make the playoffs. So they overshot my expectations. The bad thing about losing that last one is the whole season, you view it through that lens. Oh, yeah. You're looking back through that beatdown in Columbus and everything else, and it sours it all. But 10-3, not a bad year. All right, not a bad year. That's a good year. All right. You lose like that, though, and the whole season looks like it was crap. If you want a roster without holes, you got to spend $20 million like Ohio State did, and then get about 5 straight top 10 classes as well. So you got some work to do. But if the Vols want to reach the playoff next year, give me 3 position groups that have to move to the nice list next year. I think we've touched on it all, but I want to know, rank them, 1, 2, 3. What is the most important position to get on the nice list next year, Will Overstreet?
Most important, the single one, the wide receiver.
I agree.
You have to get more play production out of that group. You have to have guys that can take a 5-yard catch, make one guy miss out in the perimeter, and go down the field. The reason this offense works is when you're spacing people out, it puts guys on islands, and they have to be able to make tackles. You got to have somebody that can break a tackle and can catch a ball. And those kinds of things we need to get back to, and that's where this offense has been hurt the most, I think.
And normally I would say offensive line is more important than receiver, but I'm with you. I think it's receiver because we saw enough times this year where either Nico overshot a guy or they just dropped it. So you had time to make the connection. You know, he was under pressure a lot this year. The offensive line had some question marks, especially at tackle. But it was good enough that if you'd hit 2 more of those bombs a game, okay, it's back to 2022. You put 14 extra points on every game this year, we're looking at 2022 again. So to me, I agree with Will. I think receiver's the most important. Do we have a debate on that? And I think offensive line, I think another position group?
I don't know. I definitely agree. I think the wide receivers need the most improvement. Obviously, I mean, offensive line, I think, is going to have a complete rework next year. I mean, you're losing 3 to 4 of your starters coming, and then all your reserve guys that you've been rolling through this year on the offensive line. But I think their problems wouldn't have been as highlighted if we had more open receivers running routes and stuff like that. I mean, you saw it last night. Whenever we saw the back shot, there was nobody open. Nowhere for Nico to go. He had to hold the ball for a long time, and that ends to pressures and sacks and him having to get out and try to make something with his feet, which he did a lot of last night. But, I mean, not having that wide receiver room that we were told the best is yet to come all season, the best – I'm still waiting for the best to come, and now the season's over. Yeah, so –
You agree receivers is the top position or no?
I've been browbeating the wide receivers for 2 years.
Yeah,
so.
you have.
but no, to me it's the offensive line because based upon the guys that you have exiting the building, arguably you're losing 5 guys, five of your 6, because Dane Davis, for all intents and purposes, he's a starter. Because really he's played I think more snaps than James Campbell on the season, and really he's been better than him, marginally, but he's been better than him. So you're losing 5 guys. That's a lot. So you're talking about a starting 4 and a 6th man. That's a big hill to climb. So they got to get that part right. You're hoping David Sanders, he's uniquely talented. Listen, he's like a dancing bear. He's like a unicorn. The way he can move his feet, special. But he's 285 pounds. You're going to have to put a little bit of weight on him. Got to get him on the field, right? They haven't shown that they got an appetite to play young players. Yeah. And then the other side is the receivers, without question. Jason Swain and I, we did a show, and we had Austin Price on. And Austin Price mentioned last week that they're going after offensive line, they're going after defensive line, but they're not targeting wide receivers. I felt like somebody stabbed me in the heart. Yeah. I was like, what? I was like, why not? Because I just feel like if you got eyeballs, you understand that the wide receiver position has to be addressed. And let's say if you didn't know before last night, now you got to know that you got to go get some more wide receivers.
Third position I would throw, and I want to just what's your third position from everybody? We all agree our receivers and offensive line are probably 1, 2. I'm going to say linebackers because once Keenan Peeling went down this year, that group was kind of exposed. You're going to need linebackers. That's where I'm going. You agree?
Absolutely. I think you've gotten more talent. Speed has been upgraded at that position. but you're not able to do the guy that makes the calls to get people in the right positions. Your run fits are not good a lot of the times. So I think you have to improve there to really be it.
Kevin, just a one-word
Safe-
answer.
Safeties.
Safeties. One-word answer.
I'm going to throw it running backs. Just from what I saw when Dylan Sampson was out of that game last night, did not have much production from that running back room.
Very good. All right. When we come back, let's try to raise those spirits. We've got some Christmas-themed football questions. Smart alecky stuff coming next on The Sports Source.